Okay, so you want to build a vending machine empire. Buy a few machines. Stock them with soda and chips. Drop them in office buildings and gyms and collect cash every week for doing basically nothing. It's the classic pitch of passive income. Here's the strange part. The machine itself is the cheapest part of this business. The thing everyone assumes is the hard part. Finding a location is actually where almost every operator either makes their fortune or quietly goes broke. And the biggest companies in this industry aren't selling snacks at all anymore. They're selling data. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what it costs to get into this business at every level, why the location you place a machine in matters more than the machine itself, how a handful of massive route consolidators quietly bought up thousands of small operators over the past 2 decades, and why the single biggest threat to a modern vending machine isn't a broken snack, it's the phone in everybody's pocket. Let's start with what it actually costs to buy in, because this is one of the few businesses in this entire genre where the entry price genuinely spans from almost nothing to tens of millions of dollars, and the difference is entirely about scale and sophistication rather than location quality. At the very bottom, you can buy a single used mechanical snack machine for $800 to $2,000. No card reader, no remote monitoring, coin and bill only, the kind of machine that's been sitting in the same break room since 2009. This is where almost everyone starts, and it's cheap enough that people treat it like a hobby rather than a business. A new combination snack and drink machine with a card reader and basic telemetry, meaning it can text you when it's running low on Doritos, runs $3,000 to $5,000. A modern smart vending machine with a large touchscreen, full cashless payment, and real-time inventory tracking through an app can run $7,000 to $10,000 or more per unit. And at the very top end, specialty machines, the kind that dispense electronics, cosmetics, fresh food, or even entire pizzas made on demand inside the machine can cost $15,000 to $30,000 each. Sometimes considerably more for the fully automated fresh food and robotic units that have started appearing in airports and hospital lobbies over the past several years. So on paper, you could start this business for well under $2,000, and plenty of people do exactly that. Buy one used machine, put it in a friend's auto shop waiting room, and call themselves a vending machine business owner. The problem is that one machine in one mediocre location will generate somewhere between $50 and $200 a month in profit after restocking costs, which means your actual hourly return on the time you spend driving. Out there to refill it and collect coins is often close to nothing. This business does not work at the scale of one machine. It works, if it works at all, at the scale of a route. A route is the industry term for a collection of machines and operator services on a regular schedule, usually driving a set circuit once or twice a week, refilling inventory, collecting cash, and doing basic maintenance. This is where the real math of the business lives. And it's also where the biggest hidden cost of the entire industry shows up, which has nothing to do with the machines themselves, it's the locations. Here's the part almost nobody understands going in. You do not simply drop a vending machine wherever you want. Every single placement requires a location agreement, essentially a lease, with whoever owns or manages that property. And the terms of that agreement determine almost your entire profit margin before you've sold a single candy bar. The most basic arrangement is a flat placement fee, where you pay the property owner a fixed amount, sometimes just $50 to $100 a month, for the right to keep your machine in their lobby or break room. The far more common arrangement in higher traffic locations is a commission structure where the property owner takes a percentage of gross sales, typically somewhere between 10 and 25%. Though in premium high traffic spots like hospitals, large corporate campuses, or entertainment venues, commissions can climb to 30 or even 40% of every dollar the machine takes in. This is the detail that separates a hobbyist from an actual operator. A machine in a mediocre location with no commission might net you a healthy margin on low volume. A machine in a high traffic location paying out 35% commission might do 5 times the sales volume, but after that commission comes out, your actual dollar profit per machine might end up almost identical, or in some cases worse than the low traffic machine you're not paying anyone for, which means the entire skill of this business isn't restocking snacks. It's negotiating and securing the right locations in the first place and then defending them. Because a property manager who sees another operator offer a higher commission split can and does switch vendors, sometimes with 30 days notice written directly into the contract. This is also why the vending machine business has a reputation, not entirely undeserved, for aggressive and sometimes shady sales tactics around location placement. Cold calling office buildings, gyms, and apartment complexes to pitch a vending contract is a genuine, ongoing sales job that never stops. Because losing even a handful of your best locations in a given year can gut your route's profitability far faster than any mechanical breakdown ever could. Now, let's talk about what actually happens once the machine is placed and running, because the margin structure here is deceptively thin. A can of soda that costs you roughly 40 to 50 cents wholesale sells for $1.50 to $2 in the machine. A bag of chips costing you 50 to 70 cents might sell for $1.75 to $2.25. That sounds like a healthy markup. And in isolation, it is. Gross margins on individual products commonly run 50 to 60%. But out of that margin, you're paying the location commission we just discussed. The cost of restocking labor, meaning either your own time or an employee's hourly wage plus vehicle costs, cashless payment processing fees, which typically run around 3% of every card transaction, ongoing telemetry and software subscription fees for any smart machine, and eventually, machine maintenance and replacement. Run the full math on a single well-performing snack and drink combo machine, doing around $400 a month in gross sales, a genuinely solid but not exceptional number. And after product cost, a 20% location commission, card processing fees, and a share of your driving and restocking time, you're often left with somewhere between $80 and $150 of actual profit per machine per month. That's the number that surprises new operators the most. It's not zero, but it's nowhere close to the passive income fantasy that gets sold in online courses, promising you can build a six-figure vending empire working 2 hours a week, which is exactly why scale is the entire business model here, and not scale in the sense of a handful of machines, scale in the sense of dozens or hundreds. An operator running 25 machines, averaging $100 a month in net profit each, is generating $2,500 a month, $30,000 a year, which starts to look like a legitimate side business. An operator running 200 machines at that same average is generating $24,000 a month, close to $300,000 a year. And at that scale, you're no longer personally driving every route. You're managing route drivers, a warehouse for inventory, and a logistics operation that starts to resemble a genuine small distribution company rather than a guy with a truck full of Snickers bars. This is precisely the point at which the vending industry stops looking like small independent operators and starts looking like something else entirely. Because over the past 2 decades, a wave of consolidation has swept through this business that most consumers have never noticed. Large route consolidators, private equity-backed companies with names most people have never heard of, have spent years buying up small independent vending operators across the country, sometimes for a multiple of just 2 to 4 times annual profit, rolling dozens of tiny local routes into large regional operations that can negotiate better wholesale pricing on product, better rates on cashless payment processing, and crucially, better location contracts with national chains, because a company with 3,000 machines can offer a national gym chain or a hospital system a single unified vending contract across every one of their locations, something no independent operator with 15 machines could ever compete for. This is the same consolidation pattern that's played out in industries like laundromats, car washes, and self-storage. Small fragmented businesses with real cash flow getting quietly rolled up by financial buyers who understand that the economics only work properly at scale. Now here's the part of this industry that's changed more than almost anything else in the past decade, and it explains why the machines themselves have gotten so much more expensive, which is the shift toward cashless payment and smart inventory management. A decade ago, a coin and bill-only machine was standard, and operators had to physically drive to every machine to know whether it needed restocking, or whether the coin box was full. Today, industry data consistently shows that cashless transactions make up the majority of vending sales in developed markets, and a machine without a card reader is in a meaningful number of higher-end locations. Simply not competitive because a growing share of the population routinely carries no cash at all. This forced almost every serious operator to upgrade their entire fleet to card-capable machines, an expensive one-time transition that pushed a lot of undercapitalized small operators out of the business entirely during the transition years. The telemetry side of this shift is arguably more important than the payment side because it solved the single biggest efficiency problem in the entire industry, which is wasted driving. Historically, a route driver would visit every machine on a fixed schedule, whether it needed restocking or not, because there was no way to know remotely. Modern smart machines report their inventory levels and sales data back to a central dashboard in real time, meaning an operator can see exactly which machines are actually low and route their driver only to those locations, cutting fuel costs and labor hours dramatically. Some of the larger operators have pushed this even further, using the sales data itself to optimize what products get stocked in which machines, based on the specific buying patterns of that location. A gym stocking more protein bars and electrolyte drinks, an office building stocking more coffee and energy drinks, a hospital waiting room stocking a completely different mix than either. The machine, in other words, stopped being a dumb box and became a data collection device. That happens to also dispense chips. And the companies that figured this out first are the ones that have scaled fastest. There's a newer and more disruptive layer sitting on top of all of this, and it's specialty vending machines that don't sell snacks at all. Automated retail machines dispensing electronics, phone chargers, cosmetics, even fresh prepared meals and coffee made to order inside the unit itself have expanded rapidly in airports, universities, and hospitals over the past several years, because these categories carry far higher margins per transaction than a $2 bag of chips and can justify the $15,000 to $30,000 machine cost far more easily. A machine dispensing a $12 phone charging cable or a $15 skincare product on a single sale generates in one transaction what a snack machine might take 15 or 20 transactions to match, which is why the fastest growing segment of this industry over the past decade hasn't been more snack machines. It's been fewer, more expensive, higher margin specialty machines placed in exactly the locations where a captive audience has both the need and the willingness to pay a premium for instant access. Step back for a second, because this business is a paradox in a familiar shape by now. Everyone pictures a passive income machine, literally, that sits in a corner generating cash while you do nothing. The reality is a logistics and negotiation business disguised as a hardware business where the machine is a commodity you can buy off a shelf, but the location, the contract terms, the restocking efficiency, and increasingly the data infrastructure behind the machine are the actual product being built. The operators who fail are almost always the ones who treated this as buy a machine, place it, collect money. The operators who build genuine wealth in this space are the ones who treated it as a route density and location negotiation business from day one, where the machine was never the point. Two scenarios, real numbers. Scenario 1, a single new operator buying 3 smart snack and drink combo machines for around $25,000 total, securing decent but not premium locations with commissions around 15%. After product costs, commissions, processing fees, and your own restocking time valued at essentially nothing, because you're doing it yourself, you might net $600 to $900 a month combined across all 3 machines. $7,000 to $11,000 a year. Payback on your initial investment takes 3 to 4 years, and that's assuming none of your 3 locations cancel the contract in the meantime. Scenario 2, an established route operator running 150 machines across a mix of offices, gyms, and schools, having invested roughly $1 million in equipment and vehicles over several years, employing 2 or 3 route drivers. At an average net profit of $120 per machine per month, that's $18,000 a month. Over $200,000 a year before accounting for driver wages, warehouse rent, and insurance, which typically eats a third to half of that gross figure, leaving a genuinely solid 6-figure income for an operator who built real location density over years rather than months. Either way, the machine was never the business. The empire was always the map of locked-in locations nobody else could get to first. And the moment you stop defending that map, somebody with a better commission offer will happily take it from you.